Yo, what up, everybody? I'm back, and I'm back with my homegirl, my co-host, Miss Nijia. What's up, Nijia?
Nothing much. How about you?
Um, I'm blessed and highly favored. A lot of positive things are happening in my world right now. So you and I, we haven't really talked in a minute. So, tell me what's going on in your world.
Well, in my world, we're working on podcasting and trying to put Athens on the map with the radio because there's a lot of things that's been going on that's not right. We noticed that people don't play gospel music anymore on the radio. People aren't really paying attention to R&B artists that are local or out there that's not really seen mainstream. Their music doesn't get played like it used to in the 90s and the early 2000s anymore. So a lot of us are doing online radio to help sort of disrupt that algorithm.
Well, you know what I feel like what became the downfall of R&B music is us as a people because we stopped
Mm.
buying it. We stopped
Yeah,
buying
we
it, and,
did.
and we started doing the free download, right? And believe it or not, it's called the music business. So if this
Hmm.
form is not making a profit, why are you gonna put money into it?
Right.
And if I really think about it, I can't really think about the last time I physically bought music. I just
Mm.
download it for free. What about you?
Let's see. The last album I bought was Let It See the Wild Card.
How long ago was that?
That was literally last year.
Okay, so you're better than
But
me.
before that, it was a long time.
I
Like
think
it was a long time.
oh yeah, the last CD, the last music that I bought was Prince, the um the studio sessions or something like that, right? And I think that was about a year or two ago. And then before that was the single My Boo. No, no,
Wow.
not My Boo. Dun, 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 waiting on you. That song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? But prior to that, it's been a minute. So we can't really
I'm definitely
blame.
one of those like music nerds that you'll find in a Barnes and Nobles or an old record store because I will rummage through everything. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I used to go in the
Yeah,
back of the store, look at the CDs and stuff, and pick out the ones that I wanted. My mom would buy them, or I would buy them with the money that I would make from doing chores around the house.
I used to do that, but literally, I've been so busy. I just don't have the extra time to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
But it's rare that you can do it anymore because a lot of the CD aisles in stores now have gotten smaller.
Yeah, but up here in Seattle, we literally have these old school record shops where you can go in and rummage through records.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know this, but vinyl is making a big comeback. It's
Yes, I picked up on that a couple of years back because I would go to Barnes and Nobles all the time and I'll see all this vinyl and I said, wow, they're bringing the vinyl record players out and all this
mhm.
vinyl out. Like, I think one vinyl that I saw that caught my attention was a Coltrane album.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, I would love to have that. That's like a collector's item.
that part. Mm. Well, you want to know what's been going on in my life?
Yes.
So a lot of God is really um, moving, doing positive things in my life. Um, I'm in the education system, and I just got
Mm.
a promotion. I'll be what's called a correction education associate, and basically I will be directly dealing with kids that are struggling academically and behavior wise. And my job is to come up with plans for them to move them forward. I deal with their parents, deal with the admin, deal with the teachers. And that's kind of what I've already been doing. But the district have recognized I've literally had like a 98 to 99 success rate with my
Wow.
students, and the districts have noticed this, and so they offer me a position doing that with more money, and official position. So I feel blessed
That
with
is
that.
wonderful.
And around the country, the majority. So I'm in the I'm in the special ed department, and the majority of kids around the country are black and brown kids in the special ed department. And literally, y'all, so some of them would be classified to me as having special ed needs, but honestly, about 70 to 80% really aren't. They just need that one person to focus on them, And
That was my
that's
problem.
yeah, that's what I
I
do. I focus
understand
on these
that.
kids and I find out their way of learning and then let them know that somebody cares. And
Hmm.
literally my
Because
kids.
when I was young, my mom told me, since I had epilepsy and everything, they wanted to categorize me and say, "Oh, she got ADD or ADHD," and put me in a special ed class. And my mom and my dad, they fought for me, and they're like, "You're not putting my child in a special ed class. There's
Same
nothing
thing.
wrong with her."
Yep, same. In third grade, they tried to put me in a special ed class, and I remember this, right? But because I
Hmm.
was very, very hyper and I was all over the place, and we're lucky that we had strong parents, right? Because my mom said the
Hmm.
same thing. No, you're not putting my child in no special ed. Test them,
Hmm.
right? So they
Yeah.
tested me several times for special ed, and I kept doing extremely well. They tested me 3 times, right? So then they
Hmm.
said, okay, what's testing them for? Back then they called it the gifted program, and they tested me
Right.
with the gifted program, and I did twice, and I did well on that. So then they said, oh, he's just bored. And my mom's really, really bold, right? And she said, if I would have listened to you white folks, I would have had my baby in special ed, right? So they put me in that, and I was so gifted that they still wanted to skip me twice, because even the work they was giving me, I could figure it out real well. But my
Right.
mom said no because she wanted me to be in with my peers. The first time she said no, she said, I don't feel like you're emotionally ready to be skipped, right? But then the second time she asked me if I want to be skipped, and I said, nah, I want to stay with my peers, you
My
know.
mom did that too because I was the first one in my class to learn how to write in cursive. And my father taught me how to read chapter books on a college level. And I was the first one to learn my multiplication tables. I learned, normally you learn 1 through 12, but my dad was teaching me 1 through 25.
Right.
So I was already on another level, and they were like, she is on a fourth grade, fifth grade level. We need to skip her up. My mom was like, no, don't do that
Yeah.
because she's not emotionally ready for that.
My mom said the exact same thing. But let me tell you what my mama did, right? So then she started reading books, and she read about how a diet controls everybody's behavior. She took all sugars from out of my diet. She said she took red dye out of my diet. She cut back on red meat, and she said my behavior changed dramatically, and I wasn't as hyper as I was prior to me eating that regular American diet. You know how they try to
Hmm.
how you eat the cereals in the morning and drink the sodas and chips and stuff like that. My mama took all that out of my diet, and she said it drastically changed, right? And what I do notice is that these kids who they label as having these HDHD and behavior problems, their parents send them to school with hot Cheetos, sodas,
Wow.
candy. The breakfast that they're feeding them in the morning is cinnamon rolls and cereal and stuff like that. You are not doing them but geeking these kids up. You know what I'm saying? So
I
for
just don't understand. How was the cinnamon roll breakfast?
right, well that's what they said. And then they give them
I'm
all this
used to
sweet stuff
eating
on top
eggs
of it.
and grits and sausage for breakfast, not a
That's that
cinnamon
good
roll.
old country meal.
Yes.
You grew up in the country though, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
see.
my grandma would cook some smoked links, some
You
homemade
ever heard
rib.
of boudin?
A what?
Boudin.
No, I never heard of that.
So that's a country like sausage with rice in it. My stepmom's from Texas, and she used to make that
Oh,
homemade. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
Yep. So yeah, so I feel really blessed and highly favored that I got that promotion. But my bosses, my vice principals, keep with what I do and what I bring to the table. They've been encouraging me to go back to school, and further my education. So I finally looked into that, and I will be starting a master's program in the winter, and my job is going to pay for it, And
That is good.
yeah. So
That is real good.
my advisor, who I was talking with, who's helping me through that process, told me that with the credits and stuff I already have, that I'll probably be on fast track to complete my master's program anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years and a half.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to, and then today. So I talked to him the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? No, the day before. Yesterday I went online and registered myself for school, and today I talked to the counselor, the registered person, to make sure I was registered properly. So yeah. Oh, and then my mute. So let me get to the music, because music is my life, right?
Right.
So the young lady for the past 2 years, Lisa G. Allen, who's been featured on a lot of my tracks.
Yes.
Um, she is so phenomenal. She's one of the best talents I work with, and we just really, really vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When we get into the studio, we do performances together. We vibe. So I've been telling her that now I've been telling her I'm going to work on your solo project. So I feel like the world needs to hear it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my team and I, we started working on her first song. We're flipping Big Papa by Biggie, right? But we're gonna call it Big Mama. I love it when they call me Big Mama. That's what we're gonna say. Throw your hands in the
That's
air,
gonna
you're
be
still
cool.
king. You know what I'm saying? And so me and
That sounds like something that Lil Kim would do.
yeah, but she doesn't rap. It's a singing song.
Yeah.
But I have my other homeboy who's an incredible R&B artist too. Jay Esquire helped me write the lyrics. And I said I wanted to be in that kind of rap tone, that rap cadence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He knocked it out the park. He could send me back his lyrics, and it's in that type of cadence. And then I went and tweaked it. And then I wrote the first half of the second verse, the bridge, and the chorus. So um, I'm very excited to.
That's like another thing that we try to do is we try to put people who are like from our cities on the map because it's
When
very
you say
hard because
we,
these
who are you
really
talking about when you say we?
well like I know people at the radio station they're working with people from here from Athens.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of people think Athens is like a home city for rock music, but there's so much history here in Georgia. There's R&B, blues, gospel, jazz.
Same with Seattle. They think Seattle's all grunge or Sir Mix-a-Lot, right? No, we got so much incredible R&B, like you say, jazz, gospel artists. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So one of my missions is to help put these people on. I'm about to blank my screen for a minute. I got to get my battery, my plug, and plug it up because I see my battery sign is flashing. But
Uh-oh.
while I do that, how do I blank this? Blank. Oh, stop camera. While I do that, tell the audience what you were saying about Capricorns. She and I, we're
Oh,
both Capricorn.
I was telling Ron he's a real Capricorn
And why?
because Capricorns they have this thing where they stay so focused on what they're doing that they can be gone for a long period of time and then they'll come back and focus on something else. It's like nothing happened. They'll just stay focused on that one thing because earth signs are very perfectionist and then they'll come back.
Yep. And we like to be um on top of whatever we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not so egotistical to where if there's somebody that's more talented or got more knowledge where we'll hate on them. I love being around more talented people, or smarter people, because that only helps me grow.
Yes. I like being around intelligent people, people that are on my intellect level where I can have a civil conversation with them and not worry about going back and forth and arguing over petty stuff.
I hate arguing over
I
foolishness.
hate that. I'd be like, dang, it wasn't that deep.
Mhm. I think that's a Capricorn thing. We don't like arguing over foolishness. And the people that's in my spirit right now, we get along well, and we send
Mm-hmm.
positive vibes to each other. You know what I'm saying? For real. I don't. And there were in my teens and 20s, I felt the need to have a lot of people around me for some reason, but I'm way past that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So
And I
today,
love being around talented people too.
yeah, talented and smart people. You know what I'm saying? The girl Lisa Allen sings circles around me. You know, and I love
Right.
being, huh?
All right now.
Yeah. And so when we started writing this song, I had to put it in everybody's head. I said I want it to be a positive song. I want it to be an uplifting song for women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want it to be a song talking about we had to go to the club to get money to on the strip bar to get money. You know, I don't. I just wanted it to be positive. You know, so when we go and do this, I want it to be a song when people hear it, and especially women, that they're proud to be like, yeah, big mama. You know what I'm saying? And we're not
Mm-hmm.
just anybody could be a big
Make
mama.
it an anthem.
An anthem, that part. And we're not talking about big mama in size. We're talking about big mama in heart and spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause anybody can be a big mama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yo, I know you be watching that CMAs, right?
Yeah, I actually caught it this time. I think this is the first time I actually watched it all the way through.
So tell me what's going on with the CMA. Well, explain to everybody who doesn't know what the CMA awards what they are, and then update us to what's going on this year. Because I heard that there is becoming more inclusion, a lot of more inclusions coming with happening with that.
Yes, they are. The CMAs are the Country Music Awards. It's like the CMAs are like the Grammys to country artists. It's like the highest award that you can earn as a country artist. And we've always had racial controversy when it comes to the CMAs. I think it was either the CMAs or the CMT Awards where Beyonce had performed Daddy's Lessons with the Dixie Chicks. And man, they just drug her through the mud with all kinds of racial slurs. And it was just automatically disrespect. But since Marion Morris, who was a country artist, she said a speech about how there's a lot of black artists that she looks up to and where she gets her sound from. And y'all never nominate them or anything, but we just want to let you know that y'all are loved and y'all deserve to be acknowledged here at the Country Awards. And ever since then, it seems like they're trying to slowly include a lot of black and brown country artists.
But you know the messed up thing about that. Do you know the country was started by black folks, just like all the every other form of music?
Yes. And I was getting to that because it seems like for so long since they've rewritten history and written our people, black and brown people, out of the country music history, it's hard to explain to a lot of these people that country music was started by black and brown people.
Yeah, all forms of rock, jazz, hip hop, R&B,
I
gospel.
mean, I was reading a book about the Fixed Jubilee Singers, and it was written literally in the book that these songs that this man, Dr. John Work and Mr. Tinley, who were composers, they called these Negro spirituals folk songs. And those who don't know folk songs, folk is like the older version of country before country became to what it was.
Right. Okay, that part. Yeah, I saw online that the young man that just got voted off from Dancing with the Stars, he won an award.
Yes.
Okay, so we're slowly making strides in all areas of music, or taking
Hmm.
or re should I say we're taking back what was already ours.
Yes, that's what it is. And I think to some people that might be scary, but it's a good thing when you have that mindset, not a closed mind, but an open mind where you can accept that white people aren't the only ones that sing country. Black people sing country too, and brown people sing country too. So let's just make it where everybody can be acknowledged and celebrated in one space.
Yep, I hear you. You know what I love about country music? I love the harmonies. They have some of the beautiful harmonies.
The harmonies and the lyrical content.
Right.
My mom be like, "You be listening to blues, folk, and country now." But I love blues now. I guess that's the Georgia in me. I love blues. I can listen to BB King and Albert King all day and not be bothered. And I love Taj Mahal too. He has a style where you can mix reggae, Caribbean tones to a country blues sound, and it's nice. It's very
Yeah.
subtle.
Yeah. Cool. So now I want to talk about. So have you heard about what's going on with the Wendy Williams situation?
No, what happened?
Okay, so you remember she was supposed to be back in September, but they keep postponing it and postponing it. At first they said that it had to do with COVID. Then they said it was
Hmm.
something medical. But how about for the past 2 years, they've been coming up with a plan to replace Wendy because it's just been too much. And Wendy, I don't know if you know this, but about 2.5 years ago, Wendy got real high and drunk and came to work and allegedly, let me say that,
Intoxicated.
is high and drunk, and she
Hmm.
stripped in front of her staff and then started coming on to some of the women, right? So
Ooh,
in order for lawsuits not to be filed, they paid them people out, made them sign a confidentiality contract, but then fired them. And
wow.
DJ is it Seth one or Booth, whatever one that was there prior to the new one, he got caught up in that and he was furious, right? Because he was like, I wasn't even there when that happened, and why am I getting fired, right?
Right,
But however, they've been working since then. They've been trying to come up with an exit plan to replace Wendy, right? So
right.
once they got through this thing with Nick Cannon with the Jewish thing, um,
Hmm.
they said that Nick Cannon was going to be the replacement, right? And he was supposed to go on right after her show, but it kind of messed his plans up when she kept um,
Hmm.
postponing it because she was supposed to be the big lead in for his show, right? And so the first
Right.
week, his ratings um, tanked, and they're still tanking. They're like the lowest ratings out of all of the talk shows out right now. And so
Wow.
then they scratched that plan. They said, okay, well, because their idea was to eventually phase Wendy out and to put
The
um,
Nick Cannon
Nick
show on.
Cannon as the new Wendy thing. But I watched.
Okay. So
Have you
that
seen
was
any?
like a test run.
That was supposed to be a test run, right? Yeah, but now
Mm.
they're saying that it's doing so terrible. People don't like it. Have you seen that show?
I've seen it once and twice, and I actually enjoyed it. I love the
No,
episode
you did
when
not like it at all. It wasn't like it didn't have a flow to it to me. It's like Nick Cannon. They're not allowing Nick Cannon to be him. They're trying to make him um more happier. I think if they would have let for me, his space isn't really in the daytime sector. I think he would do
he
better
needs to be a nighttime person.
nighttime, and then let Nick be Nick, and let him bring
Hmm.
the things that he doing wilding out to his show. That show just
Because Nick is a silly person.
silly person, and then he's hyped. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But in daytime, there's a format you gotta follow. Now Sherry Shepard, she guest hosted on Wendy's show for like a week. She killed it. She was
I can see that.
yeah,
She
she
has
killed
the
it.
personality for
Yeah.
that.
So out of all the hosts that I've seen, my vote is to let Sherry rebrand the show, the Sherry Shepherd Show, and let Sherry do her thing. You know what I'm saying?
So that's almost like the Ellen show. Have
So
you heard about that?
tell me what's going on with Ellen.
Well, Ellen is planning to exit. She was already planning to exit anyway, but since she got caught up in the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, that she decided to step down. So she's been slowly fading her show out. And I guess they did a test run with Jennifer Hudson, and they're trying to see how they're going to do that.
How
But
did
it's not
Jennifer
going to
do?
be like it's not going to be like she's taking her place. It's almost going to be like some of the people who work for Ellen are going to create a whole completely different show.
That's what
And
they got to do with these Ellen shows and these Wendy shows because can't nobody do what Ellen or Wendy does.
mm-mm. And for me, if Jennifer Hudson does it, It seems like it's gonna be like a variety show
Yeah, more
because
like a
that's the
Kelly
type of
Clarkson,
person that she is.
more
She
like a
loves to
Kelly
be around
Clarkson
a lot
show.
of singers and musicians, and it'll be like a variety show. Diane Carroll did that way back in the day.
How did how did Jennifer Hudson do?
At the CMAs,
No, how did she do guest hosting for Ellen?
oh, I heard she killed it.
Okay. Have you seen Tiffany Haddish on there? Because I heard she's been guest hosting.
Yeah, she'll be a good one too.
Okay.
She'll be a good one too to give a talk show too, because she has a lot of personality as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into some real life topics. Although those some real life topics, but have you been following the Ahmaud Aubrey trial?
Yes, and my mom is like, I don't like to watch that because it gives me anxiety.
My mom don't want to watch them trials either. So tell me, fill me
Yeah,
in. I
but
haven't really
it's
been
really
watching it.
crazy.
What's going on? Are they trying to build tear down his character?
Yes, as always. They're trying to make, I think today in court, the judge was like, I think they're trying to admit people for calling Ahmaud Arbery a victim. And the judge was just not here for it. He was like, I'm not admitting anything to be in this court. So if he's a victim, then he's a victim. So
How's he
I
not
know
a
they tried to
victim?
do that with the Rittenhouse court where they forbidden him to use the word victim, but Ahmaud Aubrey was a victim. I mean, they showed the full video of him running and them chasing him. He tried to get the gun out of his face and he ended up shot dead in the chest. And what kills me is that they didn't even bother like calling the ambulance or any pandemic or anything, paramedics.
Remember
They
that
just left him to die.
remember it took remember the sheriff tried to cover it up for a minute, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that happened a long time ago than when it got released to the public. But I think that videotape is what let the cat out the bag, right? But this
Mm-hmm.
is what I say. This is what I was telling my mama. That ain't the first time them three white people done did that before, because the way that it was like a sport to them. That was their first time getting caught, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just sick the world we're in where people are literally hunting down black people like it's a sport.
It's really sad. And you know, Jennifer Lewis, the actress Jennifer Lewis, she helped put together this documentary about the Kendrick Johnson case. And it just shows you that Georgia has a terrible history when it comes to covering up for people.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way a person can commit suicide being rolled up in a mat. Like, that's crazy. I remember hearing that story. And I remember in high school, we were like, oh, I'm going to Valdosta University. It's a beautiful campus. They have like one of the top music performances in classes. And then when I heard that story, I was like, I ain't going to Valdosta. I'm sorry. But that went out of question. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to Valdosta. Their history is ridiculous.
When I first moved down to Atlanta years ago, and I was telling my mom I was moving down there, my mom said, "Now, Ronnie, you can't go down there talking to them white folks like you talk to them up here. They will literally put you underneath the jail." You know what I'm saying? She was
Hmm.
so worried about that.
And that's like with Emmett Till. Like with Emmett Till, he was so used to having a free full life because he's from Chicago. But when he came down to Mississippi, things took a turn for the worse. And they
Hmm.
lynched him so bad that his face was unrecognizable.
It was crazy. But before that lady died, the same way they tried on Bill Cosby for some things that allegedly happened 40 and 50, 60 years ago, they should have tried that lady too, especially when she admitted she
Mm-hmm.
lied. You know what I'm saying?
Because she admitted that she lied. And this
Yep,
boy lost his life.
yep.
That's
So,
just so sad.
yep. What about the Rittenhouse trial? You been watching that?
Yes, I have. And that trial is a trip. I don't the judge to me is suspicious. What kind of judge yells at a prosecutor like that? It's like he's trying to cover up or take the person's side
Yeah, and
and
trying to get
killing
TV,
innocent people that wasn't even after him.
right, and trying to get TV time.
It's just crazy. He disrupted the prosecutor's flow, and then he was like, the prosecutor had attitude like, well, you made it disrupted my flow, but I'm gonna catch this kid. And when he caught him on tape, he had no idea what to say. It was just funny to me because I'm like, wait, he asked him a question and he couldn't even answer the question.
Hmm. It's a shame in 2021, about to be 2022, we've come so far, but we still have a long, long ways to go. And I'm on this race and equity team for the
Mm-hmm.
district up here in Seattle, right? And so, they're saying that they want to dismantle the school system up here because, and they're admitting that it was built off of systemic racism to
Mm.
um, empower white folks and to keep black people down. Right? They're admitting that, right? So the question I asked them,
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Now, are you guys serious or not serious?" I said, "Because the same issues that we're talking about now are the same issues that's been brought to the forefront since the civil rights era." And I said, and then every 10 years we're back revisiting this. We have these committees, and then nothing don't happen. So what's going to
Right.
make it different this time? I said, I don't want to be on a committee where a bunch of you um, people of non-color is just on it just to say I'm on it, because this
Mm-hmm.
really is impacting my peoples.
Right.
Mm.
And it's hard because it's like I sometimes the NAACP they call my house to show what they're talking about and having meetings about. But when it comes to the questions, I just question them like, what about Black history? Do we need to put Black history in our school systems? Because we don't really learn our history in school. They basically teach us the same thing. MLK, they may touch on a little bit of the indigenous, but they won't go in deep detail about it. I had to learn a lot of that as I got older on my own.
Yeah. Well, I can say the up here
And
in
that goes
Seattle,
into like the critical race theory topic, but
that part. Well, I can say up here in Seattle, they really are making an effort to learn to teach everybody about Black history, and I've learned a lot when I was younger in school. But then I also had strong parents. My parents used to be in the Nation of Islam. Then my dad became a Black Panther. So I've always,
oh.
yeah. My dad up here in Seattle was part of the people that got the free breakfast up in schools. Because prior to
Mm,
that, they wasn't doing that. And so the Black Panthers started that and then pushed it into the school systems.
mm.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, they started a
I
lot of programs.
probably didn't even get a chance to see the biopic on Fred Hampton. Well, it's not really a biopic. It's more so about how they killed him than a
Hmm.
biopic.
Oh, and when you get a chance, you got to see The Harder They Fall. Excellent, excellent, excellent movie. Excellent writing, directing, acting,
Hmm.
beautiful cast, and a diverse looking cast. It wasn't all just yellow
That's
people
good.
or all just dark people. It was like dark all the way down from yellow and everything in between.
That looks interesting.
Yeah. So when you get a
Because
chance, you
like
got
not too long ago, this was the first time because I forgot I had Hulu, and I was like, oh, I got Hulu, so I could go ahead and watch the Judas and the Black Messiah, and I watched and man, that film is really good.
that's really good too.
Yeah, it's really good. Even though Daniel doesn't look like Fred Hampton, he sounds he it's like he tries to imitate the way he talks to get a Chicago accent
Yeah.
down.
When
But
a person gets cast for a role and then people say, "Oh, they don't look like them. They don't look like them." I say all the time, it's not about looking. It's about, can you capture the essence? Because some of the greatest people, um, Angela Bassett looked nothing like Tina Turner, but she
nothing at all.
embodied that role. Denzel
But
Washington
she became Tina Turner.
became Tina Turner.
She embodied her.
Denzel Washington doesn't look like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a light skinned man with red hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he
He
played
was like a light brown complexion, way lighter, like a shade or two lighter than Denzel.
right. Yeah. So I'll be like, you can't go by that. You got to
But
see.
he killed that. I
Killed
still
it.
think he got robbed of an Oscar for that.
He did. He
Yep,
got
I
robbed a
do.
few times, you know.
He killed that.
Yep.
I can
Um,
watch that movie all the time, and
but
that's
they
the
did
longest
they
movie
did make
too.
Jamie Foxx look like Ray. For real.
He
They had
killed
him
that
looking like
too.
Ray. He did. And Jennifer Hudson killed Aretha.
Yes,
But what I loved what they did, whoever directed her, they said,
Liesl Tommy. Shout
okay.
out to her.
She said, we're gonna give you an essence. You're still gonna do a Riri, but still do it how Jennifer would do it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
even when she was singing them songs, she didn't try. So the other girl that did Aretha, what I didn't like, especially when it came to the singing, she tried to sing them songs exactly like Aretha, and there was no comparison. You know what I'm saying? But
No.
Jennifer Hudson sang the songs the way Jennifer would do it, but still gave
Mm-hmm.
you Aretha. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I,
That's what I like because when I saw Cynthia play Aretha, first off, I was uh, like a lot of people say she don't look like her. I wasn't expecting her to look like her. I was expecting to at least get the costumes down so you can have an essence of her. And I still didn't get that part, and that kind of disappointed me.
and
And
then
then
even
on certain parts, she kind of exaggerated how she would act. I just didn't see Aretha when she was doing
I didn't
that.
say Aretha either, and I think she did okay on the role, but she wasn't playing Aretha. Jennifer got a lot of Aretha's mannerisms down, that sadness that Aretha had, um,
Mm-hmm.
the shadiness, because Aretha was shady.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Jennifer brought all that to the table.
When her and her sisters got into it and she threw shade at her so bad, that was so funny.
Right. Yeah, and I hope that she wins an Oscar, not just gets nominated. I hope she wins.
Cause I think people when they see Aretha, they think, oh, she's a shady, arrogant person. But really, when Aretha was young, she was kind of shy. I remember Gladys Knight talking about that when her mother first saw Aretha singing in the church, she was kind of shy. Even Smokey
Mhm.
Robinson said that she was kind of shy, but she was like this 4-year-old girl playing the piano like a grown woman and sounding like a grown woman. And shout out
Mhm.
to Sky Turner for captivating that essence
Right.
of the young Aretha because Aretha sounded like a grown woman when she was young. And that's what Sky gave you. She gave you the young Aretha. If you listen to her first gospel album, The Songs of Faith, they sound exactly alike.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yep. So what did we touch on everything we want to talk about?
Oh, American Idol. I was going to ask you, do you think American Idol is probably the best talent show in history?
I think the first okay. So yeah, the first like 10 seasons couldn't no show touch on, you know. But
Mm-mm.
after the 10th season, it just got real when they replaced the original cast, the original judges, that's when it started going downhill for me. But the best
Mm-hmm.
season of American Idol for me was season 3 when they had Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, and Latoya London on it. George Huff, Jasmine
Yes.
Trius. That I go back now and watch that show, and that show even now um, just brings goosebumps when I watch it.
Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, how do you go from being seventh place to a daytime Emmy winner, Oscar winner, Grammy winner? Like, Jennifer is about to be an EGOT.
Yeah, and look at all the Fantasia has accomplished. You know, she
Mm-hmm.
sold millions of records. Had a whole movie made about herself. Had a book. She wrote a book, and allegedly she's was illiterate at the time. She's been on Broadway, and now she's a
Mm-hmm.
go-to woman for all award shows. She accomplished a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jasmine Trias, she's doing pretty well over in the Philippines. She's a big star over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Diana DeGarmo, the one that won second place, she did well on Broadway. She's constantly doing Broadway shows.
Okay, because I was like, whatever happened to her?
Yeah,
Even though I wasn't a fan of Diana DeGarmo like that,
I
I was
wasn't
just
either.
wondering like whatever happened to her.
She's doing a lot of Broadway stuff, and she married one of the old one of the other contestants.
Mm.
Mhm.
But
But
yeah,
that year was
I feel like
iconic.
American Idol made a lot of stars.
A lot of stuff, more than
It
any other
made a
show.
lot of stars.
Can you think of any superstars that came out from The Voice or the X Factor?
No. Well, the
None.
only person I can think of the X Factor, when I think of X Factor, I automatically think Leona Lewis. And that's it.
Okay, that's the only one.
And that's the only one. Everybody
Oh,
else went
and
ghost.
Fifth Harmony.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot they came from the X
But you can
Factor.
go down the line with American Idol: Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, Chris Daughtry, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson. Um, who else?
Adam
Kelly,
Lambert,
Alan Lambert, Kelly Pixler. Um,
Catherine McPhee.
yeah, for
Like,
real,
oh man, they made a lot of stars.
they
And I
did.
thought it was interesting because at the CMAs, I was looking at Carrie Underwood and I said, this woman won American Idol. Now she is looked at as the modern day queen of country music.
Yeah, but
Just
she's
look at
dope.
that.
She's dope.
And her and Jennifer were like sitting at the same table because they invited Jennifer to do an Aretha tribute. And her and Chris Stapleton, I never knew Chris Stapleton was that type of singer.
Mm.
That dude sounds like a straight up blues singer.
Mm-hmm.
He's like putting the essence of country music into its own element that it used to be a long time ago. I was like, I like this because he's bringing that soul back into the country music.
Right.
And they took it straight to church. They didn't even sit down. Like, if you saw the performance, you would have thought you're in a Black Baptist church revival.
Right.
I would have been like, I was like, I don't know what it is, because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know what it is. I had to tell my friend, I was like, I don't know if I slept on Jennifer Hudson's talent, but she just gets better and better the older she gets. And it's just like something there. It's
Well,
just
that's like Beyonce to
astounding to
me.
me.
Beyonce gets better and better the older she gets. And when there's some people that say that Beyonce can't sing, I said, what are you listening to? That woman is saying her fucking behind off. And I said, do you guys see her live performances when she's on these award shows and she's doing classical music or opera music and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce, she has really mastered her technique.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan of her like that when she was in a Destiny Child because I felt like she hollered and she yodeled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And when she used to go on tour by herself and when she was singing certain songs, she would overdo it with the runs and riffs. And we are like, Beyonce, we know you. Yeah.
But
Like,
she done mastered it now for real. She has a lot of control and technique with her voice, and I feel the same way with Jennifer Hudson. She has mastered because she used to oversing to me too.
yeah. Jennifer
Fantasia.
Hudson had to go through what a lot of people go through when they have a big voice or born with a big voice.
Yeah.
Because I remember this reading it at a Donna Summers book. She has a big voice. And she said when she was young, she had to practice a lot to control that power and control her pitch. Because when you have a powerful voice, it's not like when you have like a medium-sized voice where you can be flexible, do what you want with it. You can do that if you master how to control it, though. And I think it's the thing where with Jennifer, she was really all in your face with her power. Like you knew
Right.
she was a powerhouse, but you never heard her sing in other styles. So when she started to do Broadway and started to do other things like being in the movie Sing and singing Golden Slumbers, people were like, oh, dang, I didn't know she can sing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
See,
it's like
to
she's really
me,
refined her craft.
Fantasia to me was life years ahead of a lot of them, right? So a lot of people try to say that Fantasia screams and Patty screams. I said, no, 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 no. Fantasia and
How
Patty,
could they say that though?
because sometimes they be on these shows and they will scream, right? But I said, but here's the thing. They scream when they want to and they sing when they want to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if
That
you
part.
watch Fantasia when she was on American Idol, she wasn't screaming all on them songs. She sang them songs, hit them notes, And then when she wanted
Mhm.
to get loose and go to church, she would scream. You know what I'm saying? I said
Mhm.
that's the difference. Um,
Mhm.
Jennifer Hudson was always too loud to me in the beginning.
Mhm. And it's
Yes,
it's nice because as you get older, you start to settle into your voice.
you
And I
do.
think what it was with Jennifer is that her voice was too big for her age. Cause you have to remember this girl had a big voice like that since she was a child. Like I remember YouTube used to have a lot of videos of her when she was like 16, 17, singing with the same big voice that she has now. So as she gets older now, it seems like it just gets bigger and bigger. It just gets wider and wider. But I think once she grew into her voice, she's big enough to support the notes that she wants to hit now.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, ends our time. I got some people blowing me up business wise. Um, I need to take care of that. But Nijia, as always, it's my pleasure talking with you. We're gonna have to do this more often and not take so long um to get back on the line.
But you know we're busy Capricorns.
That part. Well, let's try to commit to at least every 2 weeks.
That sounds good.
Yep, yep. Is there any last things you want to say to the audience?
Um, just check out Meet You Radio Athens because we are trying to get all the community kids together. Everybody's involved on the online radio show at Education Matters. Check that out. And yeah,
All right, cool. All right, so then on that note, we'll tell everybody peace.
good night.